What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Jake Shavink here, and no, the Packers didn't select Ohio State wide receiver Jackson Smith-Njigba. They didn't select Utah tight end Dalton Kincaid. Instead, the Packers go with Lucas Van Ness, edge rusher from Iowa. And while that pick might be upsetting to some, I wasn't exactly thrilled with the selection. But I do think the pick of Van Ness is a pick that is going to pay dividends in 2024 rather than 2023. So with that being said, the Packers have some work to do here to kind of build up the pass catcher room on the offensive side of the football to help out Jordan Love in his first year as a starter. So what are the options that the Packers have? Well, the good news, right, is that those two players I mentioned, JSN and Kincaid, are probably the only players, maybe outside of Quentin Johnston, that the Packers were considering that went last night, right? I think Addison, too small. I think Flowers was too small for them. So they didn't lose out on a lot of guys. And the biggest thing, especially, is that every tight end not named Dalton Kincaid is still available. And yes, the Packers do pick 11th and 14th tonight. Now, there could be some tight ends that come off the board, right? Michael Mayer might come off quickly, but the Packers are still going to have a plethora of options with 3 picks today that they can spend at wide receiver and tight end. And I think they will, right? So who could it be today? I think when you look at receiver, I think a few options come to mind. I think it starts probably with Cedric Tillman, the wide receiver from Tennessee, who I think is obviously has the size, has adequate speed, right? Is a ball winner down the field, right? Plays physical through his route stem, right? Good on the route breaks, catches through contact, can handle press because he's so dang strong. And when he gets in the open field, he's a pretty good long strider and got some late speed down the field. So he offers a kind of a skill set that you're looking for, like an Allen Lazard, but maybe, just maybe, a little bit more juice. I think when you look at Jonathan Mingo, that's everybody's favorite right now, right, with size and speed, and he's got kind of running back build at 220 for a receiver, and that's really exciting. I think he has a lot to work with in terms of nuance into the route breaks. I think his pad level gets really high when he's about to enter the break. So there are things that I think DBs can key in on with his route running that are going to make things difficult for him without significant development, right, at the position. But obviously that's speed, that's yak ability that he's going to provide you. And I think at the catch point, he's gotten a lot better in terms of the hand technique, in terms of lowering that drop rate, cutting it in half this past season, and being able to wall off defenders. He is going to be a yak nightmare. And if the Packers want to work on this quick passing game, right, this play action, sneak routes, crossers, all this stuff to give guys yak ability and yak opportunity, Jonathan Mingo is going to fit really well there. Now, who else could it be? I think there are a couple other names to watch for. It could be Rashee Rice tonight, especially if he's available at 78. We'll see on that. There's some things that the Packers had him in for a visit. We'll see if the Packers, liked him in that visit or not. I think there are some things that came up off the field with him, just in terms of, I think, character in general, but we'll see. For him, it's being a ball winner above the rim, right? He doesn't stack really well, but he's got great tracking ability, good hands, and he offers you a little bit in the yards after the catch department, but he's just a tough son of a gun who's going to block his butt off too. He plays the game really physically, and that's something I think that will be a draw for sure. The last guy receiver that I think is really interesting is A.T. Perry from Wake Forest. Mentioned him in the round 3 fits video, right? You look at a guy who's really sudden, who has a definite plan of attack as a route runner, has some speed to boot to stack downfield and win. Would love to see him win in more contested spots, right? He's a little bit on the lighter side at 198 for 6'3", so that's something to watch for. But sudden, springy route runner, like I said, with a plan of attack, who has the requisite size for Green Bay. I think those 4 guys, if you look at that receiver room, that's where I think they would look. Maybe they bend the thresholds. If they do, just break them for Josh Downs, who is just an electric playmaker, twitchy route runner, extremely flexible, extremely explosive, just a dynamic player who can score from anywhere on the field. And then maybe Jalen Hyatt, right, who's got a lot of speed, right, who's going to be able to rack up some big bucket plays for you immediately, who has a lot of work to do, right, as a route runner in terms of in and out of breaks. I think he's going to be fine on the vertical plane, but when you talk about a full route tree, it won't be there right away. It just will not. But again, there's a lot of receivers Green Bay can still pick tonight, and it wouldn't shock me if one of those 6 is the guy by the end of the night. Now, if we move over to tight end, a lot of options, right, at the position, right? You look at, again, if Mayer falls to 42, maybe he's the guy, multifaceted, improved as a blocker, right? Wins in the air, right? He's going to be a QB's best friend over the middle of the field. But if not, you have kind of a sudden, springy route runner in Sam Laporta, who offers you something after the catch as well. He's a tough player as well, who, you know, at 245 may never play in line, but he's got some pretty impressive technique that he showed there, so we'll see. Luke Musgrave is the height, weight, speed guy, incredible catch radius, who has some twitchiness to his game as well, but the real draw is the speed for him, right? Running the crossers, running deep down the field. He's going to generate big plays because of that speed. If Darnell Washington's the guy, that's great. A tremendous blocker with even more upside when he's improved his technique as a blocker. Dude's just got immense power, right? And he can play above the rim as a pass catcher, right? He's still going to probably be a lumbering guy who maybe can unlock a little bit more of that athleticism, but he still generates big plays after the catch because he's tough to bring down, and he's pretty nimble for a guy of his size. So another guy in play for sure. I think Tucker Kraft should be in play. I don't see why he wouldn't be at this point. I think he brings the tenacity as a blocker. You know, the Packers have shown round 2, right, last year, go a little small school action, but I do think Kraft offers you a ton as a receiver, is really elusive as well. I'm hoping the pick is Tucker Kraft tonight, one of the 3 for sure. So the Packers have a ton of options for sure, and they could even double down to tight end tonight. Who knows? Luke Schoonmaker from Michigan, another player to watch. So again, I think, you know, it's fair to have wanted the Packers to kind of help Jordan Love with getting JSN or Kincaid, but so many options at tight end and receiver tonight, and I think the Packers will stay aggressive on that front. For me, if I were to offer a prediction, I think it's Kraft and it's Tillman, or it's Musgrave and Tillman. Personally, if Mayer falls, awesome, but I think Musgrave-Tillman would be a nice combo, or Musgrave-Mingo gives you a lot of speed. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. Enjoy the draft tonight. The Packers will find a way to add some skill positions, no doubt about it. Thanks, guys, for watching. Plenty more content coming soon. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Farewell.